Yeah, and that was maybe the most terrifying I feel like we've seen Milchek yet. Him just riding around on this motorcycle with his leather jacket, just showing up at people's houses. Yeah, and he does that so well. He just every scene he's in, he steals the scene. Just very good with that.
If you're hearing this, we thank you for listening to another episode of It's a Super Life podcast with Brandon and Lorin. It is the first full week of February, which is also Black History Month. It's also Grammys night, which I totally forgot about. But it seems like a lot of people are winning already. Beyonce's won her 33rd. Kendrick's won 3 already. So he is a 20-time winning Grammy winner now.
That's nuts.
And I guess people are just going to wait to see if they give her album of the year or not. So,
is she performing? I thought I saw something.
I think so. I think people think she's going to perform the song with Miley Cyrus. I think.
Oh, okay.
I doubt if Kendrick performs because he's going to be at
the Super
Bowl next week. Yeah, so we'll see. Speaking of Beyonce, she announced the Cowboy Carter tour.
Yes, I did see that.
It's coming, so I don't have the coins right now.
Yeah, that's nuts. That woman does not slow down. Like she just is always on the go. So
yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great. I just don't know if I'll be able to go this time. But they're always Act 3 is supposed to come, and I'm sure people will share in the hype or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this week's episodes, the TV episodes. So we'll be talking about the first 3 episodes of season 2 of Severance, which has gotten off to a great start. We'll also talk about other things we're watching and things that have come up. First, we still want to say our condolences to those affected by the LA wildfires. They haven't been that much in the news. I'm sure people are still trying to rebuild after the tragedy. But also, our hearts go out to the families that are impacted by the unfortunate airplane crash last week in DC. That was just horrific and definitely insane. An unfortunate tragedy that could have been prevented. We're not going to get into all of that, but it's definitely unfortunate. And then there's the plane crash in Philly, which may be not related, but it just seems that for that to happen so close to each other, you can't ignore it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah. But in some better news, Netflix announced this week its sort of 2025 slate. A bunch of content coming. Of course, they've got movies coming. We'll finally get Olgar 2 after, I don't know when that movie came out, with Charlize Theron. We'll finally get that sequel after a bunch of delays. But they have a bunch of shows coming. They've got Tina Fey's The Four Seasons, which is supposed to be like a comedy with some all-stars in that. They're going to dive more into their live events. So we've already gotten WWE on Monday.
Yeah.
They showed Monday Night Raw. We'll get the Screen Actor Guild Award sometime this month. And then they'll be premiering a weekly live night show with John Mulaney. So they're really upping up their live coverage. And we can see it in the price increases, of course.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
But the Beyonce Bowl was a litmus test, and I think since then they've kind of figured out the magic formula there.
Yeah. I'm looking at the list now. It's a lot of stuff. My goodness.
Yeah. There's a reason why they're still sort of leading the streaming wars because no one's been able to catch up to them at all.
No. Vince Staples' show got a second season. That's good.
I remember seeing that. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We've got 0 Day coming this month with Robert De Niro, a limited series. You've got the second series from the Game of Thrones creators, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. So After 3 Body Problem, this is their next Netflix project. Some other big titles returning. The final season of Stranger Things. They still don't have an exact release date. They just know it's coming sometime this year. And I read where each episode is supposed to be like film length. I don't need to
Oh,
watch an hour
no,
35-minute episode.
that's insane.
It
And
was
what's
already
crazy is
drug.
that
Go ahead.
yeah, it's too much. And what's insane is like I need to know if the story jumps because they don't look like kids anymore. They look
I
like
think
young adults.
I think there's going to be a time jump. I think there'll be at least seniors, at least,
Okay,
because everyone's in their early 20s now.
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, there's got to be some type of movement. The second season of Wednesday is coming later this year, as well as the third and final season of Squid Game is going to arrive in June. Um, People were kind of split on the second season, given the whole concept of the show, but capitalism's on capitalism.
Yeah, it is.
And then after Stranger Things, Duffer Brothers are already gearing up for their next Netflix series, one called The Burrows, and something very bad is going to happen. And they're supposed to come out next year in 2026. So they're still in the Netflix game. I'm sure that's just a slice of the content that they're going to be offering this
Yeah,
year. Because I'm just looking at this press release and it's just tons of titles. Tyler Perry's supposed to have a new series on there as well as other
yeah, I saw
films.
that. Yeah,
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have a new movie coming out. The third edition of Knives Out is coming this fall. Like everything is coming. Second season of Survivor of the Thickest, which I really enjoy with Michelle Buteau, that comes out at the end of March. So yeah, there's a
there's so
lot of
much.
reasons. Yeah, a lot of reasons to keep Netflix, even though we hate their guts.
Yeah,
Um, you just can't. They're cable. It's cable now. It's
yeah, essentially.
just the way it is. All they needed was the live TV, and they've got that. So we've got the new for the cable's new frontier. So it's gonna be interesting to see what comes next. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into our feature presentation where we're discussing season 2 of Severance.
Yeah,
So, Severance premiered, it would have been the 17th of January, a Friday, and we've gotten 3 episodes. Hello, Miss Cobell, Goodbye, Miss Selvig, which acted pretty much like a part 1 and part 2 of the
yeah,
same sort of amount of days, and then this most recent episode, Who is Alive, episode 3. Things have definitely gone deeper into the Lumen lore. The mystery has sort of expanded. We're
yeah,
seeing different sides of a lot of the characters, especially Miss Selvig and Milchick. We're seeing sort of
yeah.
them more humanized. Out of the 3 episodes, which one would you say was your favorite?
Ooh, this latest one was good. Gave us a lot. I think maybe the first one. Oh, honestly, that's a good
Mm,
question. I genuinely don't know. They've all been really, really good, so
yeah, they've all been
it's
really
hard to
good.
pick just one. Yeah,
Yeah, I will say the first one sort of just had you thrown back in, just like Mark,
yeah,
like sort of
yeah,
confused
exactly. Yeah,
along with him, which was a nice sort of setup. But I also really loved the second episode just to see how everything was on the outside while everything was
yeah, that's a good
happening.
point.
As we see, more of Audi Dillon, which was very astonishing. We see sort of like the difference between those two characters
Characters, yeah,
in a way. Um,
and for that you have to give credit to the actors because they're essentially playing two
Two
different people,
people.
and
Yeah.
there's not much overlap, and you really see it with him in this latest episode when obviously we'll talk about, but when he his wife and that whole new thing they have for the 18-minute little
Yeah.
visit. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, that's something I just sort of just dawned on me this season. Like everyone, or at least those main 4 characters, are literally playing 8 people.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, you really see it in Adam Scott's portrayal of his Indianality, which is now becoming more blurred as they both sort of become
yeah,
attuned to the mystery at hand. But yeah, especially with Dylan. You can see sort of his innie sort of like this bright, sort of zealous, I don't give a
Yeah,
fuck type of person, and then his outie is sort of been doubled down by life's reality. It's very, very
yeah,
interesting, those two
exactly.
dynamics. Before we dive into each episode, we got to talk about this title sequence. Um,
Yeah,
brand
that was
new.
one- that was one thing everybody pointed out on forums and on YouTube videos and everything. It's just how much it changed. Yeah,
Yeah, the title sequence definitely got an upgrade. It's referencing more of what's in this episode or in this season. The hints at, the reintegration,
yeah,
more of the not clones, but the goats, I guess, or the babies or
yeah.
whatever
And what? Yeah,
humanoids they're creating. I think the sickest part is Selvig's carve out face as like a
yeah,
surveillance light. That part scared me. Like, for real.
yeah. There was yeah. Everybody was just after that first episode. I always go on Reddit and read stuff and try not to get too deep into the conspiracies and things. But everybody was talking about that, and then I like kind of go back and like just watch it again. Like, okay, let me watch this theory. Like,
Because
pick up
everything
everything.
is, yeah, everything is very intentional. So there's definitely hints and stuff around there. And
Absolutely.
just throughout these episodes, we have to discuss how manipulative capitalism is.
Hmm.
Um, especially the scene in episode 2 where Milchek is visiting the Audis. How he basically lies to them.
Yeah,
Um, First, initially firing Irving and Dylan, and then the way he approaches Mark and emotionally manipulates him
yeah,
into wanting to stay. I thought, the use of his wife's death and saying how happy he could be
right,
eventually, as if it was going to trickle down to him through this other
exactly. Yeah,
person. That was some cruel shit.
yeah, and that was maybe the most terrifying I feel like we've seen Milchek yet. Him just riding around on this motorcycle with his leather jacket, just showing up at people's houses. Yeah, and and he does that so well. He just every scene he's in, he steals the scene. Just very
Hmm.
good with that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a excellent actor, Tremel
Yeah,
Tillman. And speaking of Milchek, we have to talk about this recent episode, the scene where he gets the gift for his hard work from the board.
yeah,
And we have the scene with him and Natalie, who are one of three of, as we know, black people that work in the severed
in
floor.
this right.
Yeah, those two, and then the woman in Owen
Yeah, that was with
O&D, that was with
yeah
Bird.
the older
Yeah.
woman. Yeah,
So Milchik sees Natalie. She's sort of gifting him something that the board wants him to have. She says she received the same gift for their betterment or whatever, and it's basically a reinterpretation of, I guess, the Kier family history or
yeah,
what call you mythos with a black person that I assume to be him, like in an older state or just sort
yeah.
of blackface the Kier story. And you get this sort of, I call it like an inverse Get Out. Like I didn't know what else to describe it as. So you see him sort of try to connect with Natalie on how offensive or
What
disturbing that
happened?
moment
Right.
is. Yeah. And she, for a split second, wants to, but then she remembers who she
Like
works for
exactly.
and, gives that congratulations. Outstanding acting from both because there's literally no words for like
No, it's
20
just all
seconds.
eyes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. No, it was a great
That
scene.
scene was crazy. And if they don't get any Emmys, I'm going to kill somebody. Like,
Yeah. No, it's pretty. No, they need some because the show's just so captivating, and it's one of those shows you're watching. It's like, okay, um, damn, I only got 15 minutes left. Like, oh no, come on, I need more. I need more. Like every episode, and then it makes waiting for it um, one exciting, but also very hard to do. Like,
yeah, yeah. And then this is the biggest question that we've had throughout the first three episodes. Is this Helena or Helly?
Yes, that is one. Also, I have to stop going to Reddit, and I don't know. I'm starting to lean towards Helena a little bit.
Yeah, me too. Because at first, of course, I didn't think it was because she goes down the elevator just like everyone else. She didn't dodge her or
Yeah,
whatnot. But when she's down there, she's not acting the way
she's not got
she was.
that
Bubbly.
bubbly, yeah,
Yeah.
type of personality. There's even a little bit of weirdness during their little attempt to kiss this episode when they're by the
Yeah.
elevators. Trying to think of other things. One thing they did point out on Reddit, and I really do have to stop going there, is that when she goes down the elevator initially, it doesn't ding, and people are like, "Well, maybe that's a
Oh,
sign." Like, so
that
I
they
don't
turned
know.
it. Yeah. People were also pointing out when she told Irving that we've got you, it
Right?
was sort of impersonal. And Irving, who seems to be very empathetic, like he seems to be an empath, like he feels very strongly whether he's
Yeah,
for or against. He sensed something was not right, like in that moment. Um, so I definitely lean towards that it's Helena. Somehow she's down there sort of fiending, like hiding behind. I don't know if this, of course, they said they're going to give them Helly, but did they really give them Helly? And this not only is she doing, Kier's mission, but it's just something she wants to experience herself. Because we saw she felt a little envious
yeah,
of the experience Helly's had just in that footage of her
exactly. Yeah,
kissing Mark. Because she's lonely. Like, who does she have? Her dad?
right. Yeah. So,
So it's definitely interesting. What do we think of Gwendolyn? What's her name? Gwendolyn
Gwendolyn, is it
Christie, is that her
Christie?
name? What do we think of her character in The Goat People?
Yeah, that was interesting. I was first of all, I wasn't expecting to see her, but yeah, kind of weird. They had the guy with the goat thing on, and then these people just come over the hill with the pitchforks. Yeah, that was interesting. But like every new department we meet, they don't know that there's other departments. You know what I mean? It's very
Right,
interesting, and so it creates this
right.
dynamic. And these people were super feral. They at least
Hmm.
the other departments look put together. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, and it seems the only link between the departments has been Miss Casey.
right,
Like,
exactly.
so that's the link there. And I saw some people theorizing that with the goats, of course, those have been associated with, the like demonic forces and sort of
Right.
satanic things. So people are trying to weave in other theories that the goat could represent um just in Lumen's lore itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
be interesting. It's
Yeah.
definitely very cultish. Um
Yeah. That's what it. Yeah, you're definitely getting that.
Finally, Miss Selvig. That well, not final scene, but one of the final scenes. First, we see her attempting to leave, and then
Yeah.
she comes back. She's demanding, to be reinstated. And we see Helena offer this olive branch, but Miselvik doesn't take it. She actually retreats as if she
Yeah.
knew something bad was going to happen. And
Yeah.
I
Something's up.
feel as long as she's been with the company, she knows sort of the way they operate. It definitely felt like they were going to just sort of disappear her or
Yeah.
something.
That's a good point.
And the final scene we get is Mark meeting up with, I forget the woman's name, but the black woman, the resistance sort of
Yeah.
fighter, and she does the reintegration process on him. And that scene was crazy, just the way
Yeah.
the machine operated, seeing his two selves sort of combine.
Yeah.
Um, I wonder what's going to come next. It just seems so you don't know what to expect, but I'm
Right.
ready for it. So
Yeah. No, I'm in the same boat because it. I don't know. There seems like it's like an onion. There's just so many layers, and You know, you really, really want that big payoff of like, oh my god, what is this all leading to? What's happening? But
Hmm.
yeah, I think him having this split is definitely going to lead to obviously more discoveries. But I don't know. It's interesting because
Yeah.
it could be a thing of who's next. You know, he could get Dylan or or something, and I don't know.
Hmm. And I do feel that even though they're sort of wanting to seek the truth, they're unfortunately they're being divided slowly but
Yeah,
surely. Like Mark Mark's Audi is sort of gaining more connection with his innings, so they're kind of becoming the thing. Irvin is still sort of longing for Bert and has this new question that come up with the other employee, and then Dylan has been sort of swayed and swooned with his Allie's wife and the idea of a
exactly.
family. I think they're sort of achieving their mission to sort of divide by this revolt that was initially put in motion. But I'm definitely excited for episode 4 and see where the story goes.
Mm.
Yeah, so the next episode, of course, will premiere this Friday. It usually drops around 9 p.m. the Thursday before. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, episode 4. And when we come back, we'll get into our streams of the week. All right, there's been a lot of TV to return after the winter break or hiatus, however you want to call it. So we'll just kind of dive in. Let's see. New shows I got into Hulu's Paradise is sort of at the top of that list.
I've seen a lot of people talking about that as of late. Yeah,
Yeah, it stars Sterling K. Brown of This Is Us fame, and he's actually
yeah.
reuniting with that creator Dan Fogelman.
Okay.
And he plays a secret agent who is the number one suspect in the murder of the president. So
Oh,
you go into the show on the day of the murder, and then of course, sort of in true fashion, there'll be flashbacks and things that sort of give you bits of stuff that happens in the past to lead to the future narrative. But there's a big reveal at the end of episode 1 that sort of turns everything on its head, and makes the show sort of increases the show's scale. So it's very good. The first 3 episodes are out now, and new episodes released every Tuesday.
all right.
What was not so good was CBS's Watson. Uh, it's the new series with Morris Chestnut that they've been pushing
Oh,
since like
yeah.
November. He's Dr. John Watson, who returns to practice medicine after Sherlock is murdered by his nemesis. So they've likened it to House because he sort of solved these medical mysteries and things that of that nature. And then the overarching arc is sort of like this trying to figure out where Sherlock's murder is, and he's lost some memory because he almost died himself. So he's trying to piece together what happened that day, basically.
Happens. Yeah.
Um,
You know what? I always love seeing Morris Chestnut get new work, and he always has. He's always in a job, but I wish they would give him something that would like last, because this seems to happen a lot. Like I'm not. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like it's gonna last long.
yeah,
But
I was excited because it's from some of the producers that were behind Elementary on
yeah,
CBS, but this first episode just
good.
it
Yeah,
wasn't clicking, and I need them to understand when they make shows with black leads, it's okay to have non-black people as a supporting cast
yeah, yeah.
or
Like make it
black
look like the real
people.
world. Yeah,
Yeah, like or have like black people supporting cast. Like, of course, he's a black lead, so everyone else other than his former love interest is white or white appearing.
yeah, yeah.
I don't understand why they do that. Um, but that didn't return until the 16th, given the Super Bowl or whatever. So it was just
Oh
like
yeah. Okay.
a sneak peek. I got into Papa's House, caught up on that. It's really good with Damon and Damon Wayans Jr. Something to laugh at,
Okay.
gives you
Yeah.
throwback sitcom vibes. They even have bloopers at the end of each episode, so it's really fun.
Oh wow. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney Plus, the new animated
Hmm.
series. It's really fun. Um there was some pushback because I guess the lead actor said he thought the show was going to be too woke, but it's actually well written. And Peter Parker and Aunt May are like the only two white people in the show. So I don't know where he got the idea that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he meant. Maybe he misspoke or something. I don't know. The show's great. It's a sort of new twist on his origin. Coleman Domingo plays Norman Osborn, and he's more like the mentor to Peter, like Iron Man was in the movie. So it's a lot of fun. There's 2 episodes out now. I think they'll release 3 episodes this week. They're trying to release them fast so they don't coincide with Daredevil is coming out next month. Finally, last one was The Return of Mo on Netflix. This was a show that came out back in, I think, 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
My sister told me that this came back, and I hadn't watched the first season, so I'm going to try to get into it.
Yeah, the first season's really good. If you liked Rami on Hulu, you'll love Mo. They both sort of talk about the immigrant experience in America. And Mo appeared in Rami, and Rami is like an executive producer on this series as well. So it's really fun, comedic with heartfelt moments and real sort of straightforward discussions about, you know, America's immigration process and how slow it really is for a lot of citizens who live there. So that's why I got into this past week or this past time or what I'm watching now, however you say it.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I haven't watched too many shows. I've watched movies, but that's for another thing. But what I have watched, and I'm not sure if I talked about it in the past 2 episodes we've had, but the newest Goosebumps came out the middle or beginning of, I think it was January 10th. All episodes hit at once. And it's had David Schwimmer and the cast of kind of new young people. And it wasn't as good as the last one.
Really?
I'll say that. Yeah, it was interesting. Still had fun, but I think the last one kind of set the bar high because it had a character everybody knew in Slappy, and you know you think Goosebumps, you think Slappy,
yeah.
And this one was a little bit different. It's kind of like a plant type thing. It was weird, but yeah, it just wasn't as good. But then I've kind of wanted to get into like anime a bit more. So on Netflix, they dropped this new series. It's only a couple episodes so far, but it's called Sakamoto Days, and it's about
I've seen that.
And yeah, it's about a cop detective. I think he was a killer, but he used to be like the top guy in his line, and then he had a family, and so he puts all this on this weight, and that's one of the first things they say is like blah blah blah. He used to do this, and now he's fat, and he has kids and everything. But his thing is now they've called on him like, okay, we need you back for like this one final mission, and so it's been pretty good so far. But like I said, it's been just a couple episodes. I think maybe 4 at this point, but I've enjoyed it, and yeah, there's so much anime that is honestly hard to keep up. So
yeah,
I'll check out this one because I saw people talking about it.
Yeah, I saw that trailer and I was like, oh, maybe this is a way I can sort of get into more anime too, because there is so much to choose from and you don't know where to start. And
exactly, yeah,
it's
always like that.
Yeah, so I've dipped into the Castlevania series on Netflix. Both of those are really good. And then they're going to have a series based on Devil May Cry come out in April, so I might watch that as well. So it's kind of anime-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. So next time we meet, we'll be discussing the Oscar nominations since we missed them last time. They kind of were pushed back because of the LA wildfires. We can discuss the Oscar nominations and then other movies we've been watching, what we've sort of checked off our Oscar watch list to get prepared for those in March.
Yes, because there's a lot.
Yes. But by then we will have the 3rd season of Invincible premiere. The 3rd season of White Lotus is supposed to come out February 16th. And then next Friday, the 14th, we get Yellow Jacket season 3. So that's some more stuff we'll definitely want to discuss. I'm hoping this season sort of rebounds after the controversial second season there. But I'm excited to see what happens.
Could be good.
Thank you for listening to this episode of It's a Streamable Life podcast with Brandon and Lorin. If you want to hear more of us, we are on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Until next time, keep on streaming.
Peace.